Today is my favorite day of the year, when new tools arrive in the shop. Before we get too carried away with excitement, we need to shape and sharpen our tools. We often prefer our turning tools with a slightly different shape than they come with from the factory, so it's important to know how to shape our tools so we can get the results we want. I'll meet you at the grinder to get started. Today I'm replacing the two bowl gouges I use the most, my 1/2-inch bowl gouge and my 1/4-inch bowl gouge, with these new gouges from Hamlet by Henry Taylor. I'm trying out a new tool brand with these gouges, and that's Hamlet by Henry Taylor Tools. These are made in Sheffield, England. They're high-speed steel, much like the Robert Sorby tools you see me using in these videos so often. The one interesting thing that I've found so far is that even not on sale, these Hamlet tools are a little bit less expensive than the Robert Sorby tools with no sales involved. I'll leave links in the description to these gouges so you can check them out yourself. The reason I'm replacing this gouge is because I was running out of steel up here at the top to sharpen it quickly and easily with my sharpening jig. So we've got a new bowl gouge here that'll take its place here in the shop. I prefer a fingernail grind, or some people call it an Irish grind, on my bowl gouges that has this swept back wing, and then we've got our angle up here on the nose of the tool. This Hamlet tool comes ground from the factory in a traditional grind, and this grind itself would be really good for the bottom of a bowl. I often use scrapers for the bottom of my bowls, but you could also use a tool ground like this to run right along the bottom. But I like the flexibility that wing gives me. So the first thing I need to do with this tool is to shape it like the Robert Sorby tool that I've been using for years. Our first step is to establish our fingernail profile. So all I've done is taken a speed square and just kind of marked straight across on both of these gouges and kind of placed a mark where I want to pull the wings back. The first thing we're going to do is just kind of grind off these corners from our marks down to the tip. And when we do that, that'll kind of expose that profile that we're shooting for, and then it's just a matter of grinding off the excess. So let's get started. Now I'm starting this process here on my grinder. This is a low-speed Rikon grinder. I'm using my more coarse wheel, so this is a 60 grit wheel, and all I want to do is grind off this edge. So I'm just going to anchor it right here, bring the tool down, and just remove that edge until I have that roughly equal on both sides. So we're just going to keep working back until we get back to our mark, and then we'll work on getting down to the tip. So we're pretty close to our mark here. So now I just need to keep removing the tip. So we've got our wings where we want the wing back here at our black mark, and we've got our tip. So now all we're going to do is remove basically the shoulder until we've got that fingernail grind established. Now I'm going to set this tool aside and work on the 1/4-inch tool. Let this one cool off a little bit before we go to the next step. So that's what we're really looking for. Here on the inside you can see our curvature. Once we've got that, that's the shape of our profile, and then it's just a matter of removing this material out here on both sides. I used the Oneway Wolverine sharpening jig here at my grinder, and I used the Vari-grind attachment to help me with that fingernail grind. Now, on these two bowl gouges, I like a 50-degree angle on the nose of the tool, and I've got a setup block that helps me get that angle very consistently. So I just kind of drop it on there, lock the pocket in place, and then I've got the Vari-grind attachment. I've got a small hole down here on the front of my grinder bench. That's 2 inches, so the neck protrudes out 2 inches every time. I get that consistently. And then I just tighten down the Vari-grind jig, and then with this leg in the pocket, it gets me that 50-degree bevel angle and very consistent results all the time. So it's going to take a few minutes to grind away this excess, but basically all we want to do is now that we've got our wing, we're just going to grind this away, and we've got our jig already set up so that once we've got it, once we've removed this material, we will have that 50-degree angle down here on the nose of the tool, and this tool should look pretty much just like the old tool it's replacing. Now I'm going to work the sides of the tool just like I would do if I was sharpening, where I'm going to work on the sides or the wings. And then once we get the wings, we'll start moving around and kind of making a full pass and get the nose of the tool. But if we keep sharpening back and forth and back and forth and back and forth from one side to the other and back, we end up sharpening the end or the tip twice as much as we sharpen the wings. So we can easily misshape our tool that way. So I always like to sharpen the wing, just like this. I grind the wing. And then once I've got the wing where I want it, then I will go all the way around. So we're going to start that shape on the nose just a little bit, just by connecting one side to the other. We have some material on the nose to remove as well, but not nearly as much as the sides. The benefit of having two of these that I need to work on is I can let that one cool off for a few moments and work on the 1/4-inch gouge. I use the same setup with the 1/4-inch gouge as I do the 1/2-inch gouge. I like that 50-degree bevel angle down here on the tip. So we don't need to move anything here on the grinder. So we really don't have any flat spots left here on our 1/4-inch gouge. That is pretty well sharp all the way around. So here in a minute, we'll move our setup over here to our 120 grit stone, and that'll just kind of put a better buff or polish on our cutting edge. Okay, we've got both gouges ground with the rough wheel, so let's just get the final sharpening done on them, and they will be ready to use. Let's get our final sharpening on. So that'll do pretty well. The last thing I'll do is just take a little green Scotch-Brite pad and kind of buff the inside of the flute. Otherwise, this new gouge is ready to be used. Got our new 1/2-inch gouge out here. Get the final sharpening done on it. Now I'll keep practicing my turning with these new Hamlet tools, and I'll let you know what I think of them. And if you're looking for more information on sharpening, you can check out this video right here, and I'll see you there.